How's it going today, guys? It's JSP Talks Bears, and that's right, I talk Bears. That's all I do is I talk Bears. I give you my reactions. I give you my live reactions. Sometimes I try to do it as live as possible. Once an update comes out, I try to give a live update. So if you guys want to be updated, if you want to see my reaction to everything Bears, hit the subscribe button, and I will definitely get to that. Today, we are talking about who the Bears should sign. Now, there's a lot of positions still to fill. And today, what is it? Today's Wednesday, March 16th. The Bears have been surprisingly quiet. They've actually been quiet the past couple days, but yesterday they obviously signed an offensive lineman last night, which surprised me, but I like the move that Ryan Poles was doing. But they haven't signed a wide receiver yet, and that role definitely needs to be filled. If not, definitely need a wide receiver number one. I mean, Darnell Mooney, he could possibly be a wide receiver number one, but he hasn't proven that yet, and we need him to do that for us, and he hasn't done that yet. So right now, he is probably number two. We need a designated wide receiver number one, but I'm looking at a lot of these names, and none of them would really make it to number one immediately, right when you sign them. So we would have probably two number twos, or maybe he's waiting for the draft, but I don't know. I do want some veterans at the wide receiver position, and right now we do not have any. Darnell Mooney is in his third year in the league, and the only other wide receiver on the roster right now that we guarantee have for next year is Daz Newsome, and he is this would be his second year in the league, and he barely played any at all last year anyway. So let me go through this list I made. This is not in any particular order, but these are just names that I would like Poles to sign or possibly sign, and I would not be pissed about it. I really wouldn't be mad about any of these names. So let's just get right into it. Juju Smith-Schuster. I have stated this many times. If you follow me on Twitter, and if I've only have like 2 videos up on this channel right now, but if you have followed me, I don't like Juju as a person. Seems like an asshole. He's a bit cringy at times, but I think he would be a perfect fit for the Bears. Terron Armstead. He's an offensive lineman that I would like to get. I believe he's on the interior. Yeah, I would like to get him because he's another one of those that is pretty damn good, and I would like to. No, I just think he's mean in the trenches. We need some more mean. We need mean. Ifedi last year, disappointing. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Ifedi was probably the worst offensive lineman, but behind Mustipher, and he was a loser. He was a wimp, and he kind of stopped Tevin Jenkins from defending his quarterback, which that's what you're supposed to do. You know, when you are an offensive lineman, you're supposed to defend your quarterback when he gets a cheap shot to the head, or maybe it was. I don't think it was a cheap shot to the head. It was a late hit out of bounds. And Tevin Jenkins went over to, I think it was the Vikings. I don't remember who we were playing, but I'm pretty sure it was the Vikings. He went over there, and he was like, "You don't touch my quarterback like that." And not Tevin Jenkins, Ifedi went over there and like, "Hey, sit down. What are you doing? You cannot be getting a penalty right now," even though we were already down by like 20 points. So why does it fucking matter anyway? Anyway, Ifedi, thank you for your time in Chicago, but please kindly get the fuck out. Get out. If you're going to act like that, we do not want you here. Please leave if you're going to act like that. Tevin Jenkins is what we want. That is what we want in an offensive lineman. You are not what we want in an offensive lineman. Get the hell out. I hope you find success somewhere else. Hopefully at Green Bay. Fuck Green Bay. But that's not what we're looking for. And I'm so happy we're moving on from him, and I'm hoping Mustipher loses that battle in camp, because my God, he was pretty god awful last year too. Anyway, moving on. The next wide receiver focus focused. The next wide receiver, it's still not focused, is Allen Robinson. Allen Robinson, obviously, he's a free agent, so he's not on the Bears anymore, but he hasn't signed with anyone yet, and I haven't really been hearing too much, except like 2-3 days ago they said he's interested in going to the Jaguars or the Lions, which is kind of interesting because those two teams suck, and I don't see him going back to the Jaguars. I also saw he might be going back to the Chiefs, or not back to the Chiefs, he might going to the Chiefs, but that also wouldn't make any sense because Matt Nagy is there, and I'm pretty positive Allen Robinson doesn't want to be anywhere near Matt Nagy, so I don't see that happening whatsoever. I don't know what's going to happen with Allen Robinson, but I highly doubt he's coming back to the Bears. I highly doubt it. I would actually be pretty damn surprised if he does. I know some people still want him, but I don't know. I don't think him and Justin Fields have any chemistry whatsoever, so I actually don't even really want him on the Bears anymore. I used to be such a big fan. He was my favorite player. He was my favorite player for a long, long time. From, I think, 2018 to 2020. And then up until this season, he started pissing me off because he was complaining about an extension. He wanted to be like a top 5 paid wide receiver. And he just pissed me off so much, to the point where I actually started to not like him anymore. So anyway, next, moving on, is Tyrann Mathieu. I am probably 3% of the Bears fan base in saying that I do not want Tyrann Mathieu on my team. I don't like him, again, kind of like Juju. I don't like him as a person. I know he's mean, he's nasty, like he's trying to be like Jalen Ramsey, nasty. But I don't know, he's just kind of an asshole to everybody on the team. And I understand that if somebody gives up the touchdown, that you yell at them and you try to correct them. But man, he's given up like a pretty decent amount of touchdowns too. And I've seen so many clips of him giving up touchdowns and him blaming his teammates because of his mistake. I've seen so many things like that through him that, I mean, I don't know if it's always 100% his fault. Obviously it's not. But I've seen like 2 or 3 touchdowns where it was his fault, but he blamed his team. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you've seen those clips. I'm pretty sure there was one actually in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. He gave up a touchdown and he blamed I forgot who it was. I don't know, but yeah, he's right in some situations, he's wrong in other situations. That's what I'm saying. Plus, he's an aging safety. He's going to ask for a shit ton of money. I just don't really want him on my team. For 2 years, we're going to pay him, what, $10 million a year? $15 million? No, that's too much. I think we're already paying Eddie Jackson too much money. I'm surprised that Ryan Poles is allowing him to stay on the team with that fat of a contract, because we got rid of Khalil Mack. We're getting rid of all these fat contracts, and I'm surprised if Robert Quinn and Eddie Jackson is even on here. So no Tyrann Mathieu. I just don't see it happening. I don't see Ryan Poles going out, a veteran, paying him a ton of money, who's an aging veteran in his 30s. I don't see it. Or he's 29 and he's turning into 30. Whatever. Anyway, Stephon Gilmore, again, kind of like Tyrann Mathieu. I'm going to go over this quickly. I just don't see that happening. He's also aging. He's a veteran, and yes, you need veterans, but still, I don't see it happening. Kind of like Tyrann Mathieu. I don't think he's that big of an asshole, like I said, but yeah, I just don't see it happening. Jarvis Landry. Now, I actually really like this. I like this a lot, and I'd rather have Jarvis Landry over Juju. But the thing is I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately, because I haven't seen anything on it. That's my reasoning. I haven't seen anything on it, but I mean, that's not 100% saying he's not going to the Bears, because look at what just happened with Von Miller. No, I did not see that coming at all. It was not being reported on. They were doing it in secret. I really thought Von Miller was going to come back here. I live in Colorado. I thought he was going to come back to Denver. That was my guess. That was my prediction. And then out of the blue, I just see Von Miller to the Bills. That was the most random team. I never would have thought Von Miller would go to the Bills for 6 years. I thought Von Miller was close to retiring, but he's going on for another 6 years. That is crazy to me. And he got the bag, and hopefully he wins another Super Bowl because I'm a pretty big fan of the Bills. I like Josh Allen. I like Stephon Diggs. I like all of them. I hope Cole Beasley stays on there. Isaiah McKenzie, I'm a huge fan of now. Anyway, Jarvis Landry, I would love to see on the Bears, but I just haven't seen anything on it yet. Maybe in the next few days, Ryan Poles can make some calls, be like, yo, we need a number one wide receiver, which Jarvis Landry would be. He would be a number one wide receiver, and he would probably get that wide receiver number one pay if he comes to the Bears, and I would totally give it to him. 15 a year. I don't know, 17 a year. That's still a lot, but look at what fucking Christian Kirk got. I'm just saying. Anyway, and I also have a Jarvis Landry jersey because I was a big fan of him when he was on the Browns. Anyway, Akiem Hicks. I would like to see Akiem Hicks come and come back. I don't know if we will because we kind of replaced him, but at the same time, we kind of replaced Eddie Goldman and not Akiem Hicks. So we still need a replacement for Akiem Hicks if he doesn't come back. I know Akiem Hicks has said he wanted to retire a Bear, but he obviously isn't going to. Hopefully he does. Not obviously he isn't going to, because you never know what the future holds. If Ryan Poles changes his mind about him, he could just be like, yo, come back on a 1-year deal. If you play good again, we'll give you an extension, like a more of an extension. But again, I think Akiem Hicks, unless he's willing to take a pay cut, I think he will probably seek pay somewhere else. I just hope it's not in the NFC North, because a lot of people are saying he might go to the Vikings, and I will freaking lose it if he goes to the Vikings, because I can't imagine him in a Vikings uniform. I really can't. I mean, I can't imagine him in anything other than a Bears uniform. Same with Khalil Mack. I saw he held up his Chargers jersey today on Twitter, and that was really, really sad to see. And he didn't even look like he wanted to be there. I mean, that's how he always looks, but man, it's really hard. It's really sad to see Khalil Mack on a different team. I hope he does good. I'll be rooting for the Chargers this year. I'll be rooting for Khalil Mack getting a ring, but who knows? The Chargers are always very hyped up in the beginning of the year, and then they start to suck, so who knows? Anyway, next is J.C. Tretter, a Browns offensive lineman who was just released. He's an NFLPA player of the, I don't know what it exactly is, but he's just he's a good person, and he's a locker guy, and the Browns had one of the best offensive lines in football the past couple years, so obviously he's good. I've heard nothing but good things about him. I don't know too much about him, but all I've heard is just good stuff about him. So I would like to see him too. I don't know how to say his name, but his name is Lale Collins, I believe. He was on the Cowboys. He is another mean offensive lineman. I would like to see him too. Another wide receiver I would like to see is MVS. I don't know if I would sign MVS because he's kind of like a wide receiver number 2. He's kind of shown us what he can do, so there's no way he's probably better than Mooney, I would say. He drops a lot of balls, and I don't know. He's good. He's good. Not great. He's wide receiver number 2 material. And, I guess that's kind of what we need. I would take Juju and Jarvis Landry over MVS. But if we sign MVS, I would not be mad, at the right price, at least. And then the last one is Rasul Douglas. I would love to take a Packers cornerback from the Packers and bring them to the Bears. That would be freaking hilarious. And all I've seen is Tom Grossi wants him back. That's why I kind of want him. He's good. He's also really good. Or he had an up year last year. But the main reason I put this on here is because Tom Grossi keeps on saying, hey, I really need him back. Rasul Douglas, he better be coming back to the Packers. I don't think he will. They just don't have the money for it. And also, they need to save money for Devontae Adams. Or at least they should be saving money for Devontae Adams. Because they should get Devontae Adams back somehow. Somehow the cap isn't real. Yada, 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 yada. The cap isn't real. They're going to get Devontae Adams back. I'm telling you right now, as a Bears fan, as a biased Bears fan, they're somehow going to get Devontae Adams back. I don't care what the reports are. Oh, their relationship isn't good. Their relationship is it's not good. They're getting him back. They're getting him back. Look what happened with Aaron Rodgers. Look what happened with Aaron Rodgers. I really thought Aaron Rodgers was going to leave, go to Denver, and we would live our lives happily ever after because the bad man's gone. But that didn't happen, and I want to cry. I do. No, I'm like I said, Justin Fields needs a challenge, and we get 4 more years. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Who fucking knows with Aaron Rodgers? How many years he's going to be here? Anyway, let me know who you want the Bears to sign in the comments below. I think I would be happy with Jarvis Landry and one of the offensive linemen I said on here. One of the offensive linemen. We obviously need to fill both of those. We need a new safety. We need a new Akiem Hicks tackle. Defensive tackle. I'm trying to think what else we need. Anyway, those 2 names, Jarvis Landry and, I don't know, J.C. Treader or Taron Armstead. Those 2 I would be happy with. Please go get those Ryan Poles. Please go get those Ryan Poles. I will personally suck your pee-pee if you give us just a Super Bowl. Honestly, I will. You heard it here first. I will suck Ryan Poles' pee-pee if he gets a Super Bowl. So, yeah. All right, guys, have a good day.